Hello guys, happy weekend to you all. Welcome back to my channel. So today I've decided to draft out my weekly bias with you guys. So this is a chart of XAUUSD, and then I want to show you guys how I draft out my weekly bias, and then I will do that on few pairs that I trade, and we are going to start with XAUUSD. But first, before we start analyzing our chart, I want us to check what is happening in fundamentals. Today being Sunday, 26th of July, 3:29 p.m. That's exactly when I'm making this video. So a news came out by 2 o'clock p.m. today that US have decided to pause the strike on Iran. And then if you're a trader, you know that this is a very good news for XAUUSD because XAUUSD have been planning to go to the upside, but each time that it attempts going to the upside, the tension between the US and Iran will keep pushing it down. XAUUSD have shown a sign of reversal here, but the war is holding it down. So this is a very good news. If the US is going to pause the strike on Iran and a peace deal negotiate with Iran and US, it's going to be a very good news for XAUUSD to continue going to the upside. And then again, on Wednesday we have FOMC meeting, and then there are possible things that can happen on that meeting. But the most expected thing that is going to happen in the meeting is that Fed is expected to keep the rates unchanged. Yeah, that's the expected thing that's going to happen. And then it's kind of bad news to XAUUSD because inflation is high, and then when inflation is high, the rate is high, and then the USD is going to get stronger. And you know what happens when USD gets stronger? It's going to keep pushing XAUUSD down. Any pair that have USD attached to it is going to keep throwing them down. And then again, there are possible scenarios that can happen on that FOMC meeting. If the Fed sound dovish, that is, if the Fed give information that inflation is cooling down and then there might be a possible rate cut in the future, then that's going to be a very good news for gold because it's going to weaken US dollar. And then when it weakens US dollar, gold is going to become stronger than US dollar, and then you're going to see upside. And then if that happens, then we might even see a new all-time high on gold. So these are two possible things that can happen on the FOMC meeting. But whoever can tell, we are waiting for that day to come so that we can know what is going to happen. So knowing fully well what is happening on the fundamental now, then let's analyze the chart. So this is a chart of XAUUSD, and if you look where, you know that gold has been going on a bearish direction, showing us lower low, lower high, then another lower high here, then another lower low here, another lower high here, and then another lower low here. And this is where we are now. And then looking on this chart, I'm expecting gold to reverse. And I know a lot of people is going to be asking me why are you expecting gold to last. If you look at the chart so well, you know that gold is currently on the weekly time frame demand zone, which is here. And then not only on a weekly time frame demand zone, it have sweep a lot of liquidity here. I know a lot of people call this the break of structure. Yeah, it's a valid break of structure because it closed with body, not with wick, but it still is liquidity sweep. And then coming after sweeping this liquidity here is giving you a double bottom here. What else are you expecting? I'm expecting gold to go up at least this level. But what is holding gold down is the tension of the US war. And then if the war continues, it can take gold down to this level. And then anything that can take gold below here, then gold might test very low. Like gold might sell so low that people don't expect it. But what I am expecting is that since today the news have come out that US have decided to pause the strike on Iran, if Iran is going to agree to any peace deal with US, then we might see gold go up massively. Like you might see a lot of jump. So putting all these things in consideration now, you can see that technically gold is bearish, and then fundamentally gold is still bearish. Mind you, whatever I'm saying now, I'm not going to trade my feelings. I'm going to follow what the market is showing me. Regardless, I'm hoping for gold to shift to the upside, but if the market shows that it's still going to continue bearish, I'm going to take the advantage and then ride it to the downside. And then if the market shows me that it's going to go up, and then I'm going to take the advantage and ride it to the upside. I'm not going to trade my emotion on here. I'm not going to trade my emotion and risk my hard-earned money for anything, regardless of what I think the market will do. The market does not care about my opinion. So as you can see on a daily time frame, which is my higher time frame, gold is currently bearish. And then let's go down to my 4 hours time frame. Yeah, some people can start with weekly time frame and stuff like that, but I decided to start on daily time frame. I don't think there is any need for going to the weekly time frame. So having the knowledge of what the market is doing on the daily time frame, then we can go down to weekly 4 hours time frame. But before we can go down to the 4 hours time frame, let's mark out our daily high and low. Yeah, this is the last break of structure, and then this is our daily high, and then this is our daily low. So since we have already marked out our daily high and daily low, let's go down to our 4 hours time. So back to my 4 hours time frame, so you can see exactly what the market is doing. You can see it more clearly. Then you can see it more clearly that we have a break of structure here. You can see it more clearly that we have a break of structure here. And then you can see what happened. Price pull back and then come back and then pull back again, sweep the liquidity below this, and then what do you have here? We have a broker structure to the upside, and then most times for me this is a sign of reversal to the upside for me. And you can see what happened after that reversal. We have been going down on a bearish direction, but in a lower time frame, not in a higher time frame. In a lower time frame, this is, if you go to 1 hour time frame, you can see that this is a downtrend. You can see it. We have been going down, doing lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. But you can see what happened of recent price breakout past this trend line here, because there is trend line here. Someone I will still draw it so that you can see it. There is a trend line here. You can see what happened of recent price breakout past the trend line, and then have retraced down to this demand zone here, and then we're expecting price to continue going up, but that will happen if there is a peace deal agreed by Iran and US. If the war tension continues, then you might see gold continue going down and down. So that's what happened. Then let's analyze the chart properly the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. So as you can see what is happening in a 4 hour time frame now. Let me just show you guys what I mean by drawing the line. So this is 4 hours time frame. This is where price decided to start reversing, and then you can see after this because of the upside, you can see what the price have been doing. Price have been going down on a trend line. So as you can see, according to the trend line I mark out, price have been respecting this particular trend line. And then I made a video about this particular trend line because I was able to catch a particular trade here and here, and then rally to the downside, and price had to hit my take profit. I also catch a trade here. If you have been following my video, you will know that I've made a video about catching a trade here, here, and here. Price expecting this trend line, and then all of them hit take profit in this zone. So as you can see here, that price has been on a trend line, but you can see what happened here. Price broke past this trend line. Yeah, price broke past this trend line. And you know what happened when price break out past trend line? Price will come back to that particular candlestick that break the trend line, mitigate the candlestick. Probably there are going to be a demand zone there, or fair value gap, or anything you want to call it, other block, or anything you want to call it. So as you can see, price have already come down, mitigate this demand zone here, and then we are expecting price to continue going up and then go up even higher. But mind you, as I said, this can only happen if the tension between the US and Iran war cools down. So based on what I have showed you now, you can see exactly the perspective of what is going to happen on XAUUSD this week. This week, if the news continue that the US have first strike on Iran war, then we are going to go to the upside. But if the tension between the US and Iran continue, then we are going to continue to the downside. So after seeing what might happen on XAUUSD right now on 4 hours time frame, then let's go down to the 1 hour time frame and look for our entry. So sometimes I use 1 hour time frame as my lower time frame. Sometimes I use 15 minutes as my lower time frame, depending on the one particular one I want to use. So this is my 1 hour time frame. As I told you before that if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, you can see exactly this trend line that I mark. And then you can see the trend line that I mark. You can see what happened on this trend line. Price come here, obey the trend line, obey it, obey it, obey the trend line, obey the trend line, and then even come here, try to obey the trend line, but the buyers have already entered the market and then push the price above this trend line, breaking this trend line direction, and then giving us a demand zone here. As I told you, there will always be either a demand zone, another block, or a fair value gap, whichever one you want to call it. There will always be a sign there. And then as you can see, what happened, price have already mitigated this demand zone here. And then not only mitigating this demand zone here, there is a lower time frame break of structure. And then price have already break past the high of this lower time frame break of structure, then giving us that we are going to see that reversal we are waiting for now. If only the tension between the Iran and the US cools down, that's what is going to happen. So after this break of structure, lower time frame break of structure now, what might potentially happen is that during the market open today, gold might open up here, around here, and then so you take it to the upside, taking out this liquidity here because this is a liquidity, or gold might decide to open up anywhere here. Yeah, because there is a news that US is planning to put the strike on Iran and then come down, take out this liquidity. But I'm expecting gold to sweep some form of liquidity before we can go up, because that's what gold is known for. It always take out liquidities. We're going to take out impatient traders before going to the direction expected to come. So as you can see what I showed you here now, this is what potentially my whichever one go do, and if it open here and then pull back or take out this liquidity, or if it open here and then continue going up. But I'm going to follow what the market is showing me. As you all know, my opinion doesn't count on the market. Yeah, you know that your opinion doesn't count. Market doesn't care about your fucking opinion. What is going to happen is that I'm going to buy gold. If the tension between US and Iran cools down, that is, if this news continue that US have paused strike on Iran, I'm going to buy gold, and then I'm going to put my stop loss here. I'm going to put my stop loss here. This is where I'm going to put my stop loss, and then I'm going to target this area. I will show you the reason why I'm targeting this area. Let's go over to my 4 hours time frame. I will show you the reason why I'm targeting this area. So if you look, you can see that this area, this particular area that I mark out, it's a 4 hour supply zone. You can see right now that it's a 4 hour supply zone. That is the reason why I'm going to be targeting this particular area. It does not mean that when the market reach here, it's going to reverse. Yeah, there is a possibility that it's going to reverse, but I'm going to take profit once price reach this particular area. That's where I'm going to take profit. You know, take profit, as for me, I don't know, as for any other person, it's not a particular point. Yeah, take profit is at particular area. Once price reach this particular supply zone here, then and show me a sign of reversal in my lower time frame, I'm going to take profit. I don't care about what anybody think. I don't care about. I'm not going to be that greedy, because I know that another opportunity is going to come in just a matter of time until another opportunity is going to come. So this is my bias on XAUUSD. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. So let's go over to another pair that I trade. So let's go over to GBPUSD. So let's do top down analysis on GBPUSD so that you can see what GBPUSD is currently doing. So as you can see, this is a chart of GBPUSD, and then this is what the market is doing on GBPUSD. I've made several videos analyzing this particular GBPUSD. Sorry, don't mind my pen. Pen is just doing somehow. I've made several videos analyzing this GBPUSD on top down analysis, and then as you can see, this is our weekly high, and then sorry, this is our weekly low, and then this is our weekly high. Yeah, it's our weekly high. This is what price is showing us on GBPUSD on a higher time frame, which is my daily time frame. I use my daily time frame as a higher time frame. So seeing what the market is doing on a higher time frame, which is my daily time frame, let's now go over to my medium time frame, which is my 4 hour time frame, so that I can narrow down our focus. So this is my 4 hours time frame. You can see now. You can see exactly what the price is in on my 4 hours time frame. Yeah, according to the video I made before, I'm still going to continue because I cannot attach the video. So this is our 4 hour time frame. Then let me show you exactly what the price is doing on the 4 hour time frame. So if you look closely where you can see what the price is doing, this is the last break of structure. This is the break of structure to the downside, meaning that on a 4 hour time frame, price is currently on a bearish direction. And then we have another break of structure here, and then you can see what happened on this 4 hours direction. Price have now break the last high, which break structure to the down side, and then showing us that 4 hours time frame is currently bullish. And then seeing that the 4 hour time frame is currently bullish because we have a break of structure to the upside here. So for me, this is a clear break of structure to the upside because not only one candle close up, a lot of candle close up here. I know a lot of people is going to say this is a liquidity sweep, this one, that one. Yeah, if you go to daily time frame, it might look like it's a liquidity sweep, but for me, this is a break of structure to me. But you know what happened? What I do, I don't trade blindly. Yeah, I follow the market. I don't trade my opinion. Although some of the times I can trade my opinion out of normal emotions in trading, but most of the times I trade what the market shows me. So having now that we have a break of structure, 4 hours break of structure to the upside, meaning that on a 4 hour time frame, GBPUSD is currently shifting bullish. But what happened? What happened? I don't enter my trade on 4 hours time frame. After analyzing my trade on 4 hour time frame, I will still have to go down to 15 minutes or 1 hour time frame just to find my entry. So you can see what happened here now. After this break of structure to the upside, the price have started pulling back. Price started pulling back and then break this lower time frame structure here. We have a lower time frame break of structure. And then another thing that determines my entry on a higher time frame is that I normally use a tools called premium and discount tools. And then if I pull out my premium and discount tools here now and then come to this low here, you can see that I'm expecting price to retrace at least to any of the demand zone here before we can continue going up. If actually this zone is going to hold, or we might see, you can still see a reversal price come here, do that, and then continue going down. I'm going to follow whatever market is showing me. So if you look closely on my premium and discount use, you can see that price is currently expensive because whenever price is within this zone, that means the price is currently expensive. And then I want to buy when price is cheap. And then price is going to be cheap whenever it reach to this particular region. And then price is currently on this particular region now, but I'm not going to enter in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to wait for price to mitigate the demand zone here and then show me a sign of reversal in lower time frame before I can move and then ride the move to the upside. So seeing exactly what the market is showing us now, then what am I going to do? What am I expecting on this GBPUSD? What I'm expecting on this GBPUSD is that I'm going to follow the lower time frame. Yes, I'm going to follow the lower time frame because I told you that before I will consider looking for a buy, I want to see price around this region. Yes, I want to see price around this region. I'm not just seeing price around this region, seeing price around this region and then seeing a sign of reversal, seeing price showing me a sign of reversal, giving me this double bottom, lower time frame double bottom, or even giving me a liquidity sweep and then giving me a reversal and then I wait for it and then ready to the upside. I want to see this. If I don't see this, I'm not going to enter the trade. I'm going to follow what the lower time frame is. And then what is the lower time frame doing? Lower time frame is doing that the lower time frame breaks structure to the downside, meaning that in a lower time frame, I'm bearish. So what am I expecting on this particular trade? Since there is a break of structure to the downside, I'm expecting price to pull back. Yes, I'm expecting price to pull back to any of the supply zone here. And then if price pull back any of the supply zone here, I'm going to ride it to the downside until I reach the particular zone that I want the trade to show me a sign of reversal before I can go up. So this is what I'm expecting on GBPUSD. So what I'm expecting right now is when the market price open, then I'm going to see a reversal to the upside to this supply zone here, and then wait for my lower time frame confirmation, and then I will go down and then I will go down to this particular region that I want to see a reversal to the upside. This is going against the higher time frame order flow, but going with the lower time frame. I always like going with the lower time frame. Yes, going with the lower time frame is more like scalping. Yeah, mind you, this is not a higher time frame bias. This is a lower time frame bias. If price ever come to this region and then I enter this particular trade and go down, this is not a higher time frame bias. This is a lower time frame bias. My higher time frame bias is that I already have a break of structure to the upside. I want price to come to this region now, give me a sign of reversal, and then I will go up. This is my higher time frame bias, but my lower time frame bias is that I want price to come to this supply zone and then I will go down. Mind you, this is not a higher time frame bias. This is a lower time frame bias. Don't mistake it here as a lower time frame bias. Some people will be mistaking it as a higher time frame bias, and then enter here and then be targeting this particular low here. And then what might happen is the price will come to this region and then the price go and hit their stop loss. So when you are following the lower time frame bias, you are going to know exactly where to take profit. Yes, you're going to know exactly where to take profit. When the price comes to this particular region, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to observe what price do here. If price show me a sign of reversal on this particular region, that is if price eventually come here and then continue going down. If price come to this particular region when going down, and then whatever the price did here, whatever price did here is going to determine if I'm going to hit who to take profit to this particular area. If price show me a sign of reversal here, and then I'm going to exit the trade on this particular area. So because it's a lower time frame bias, I'm going to handle it as a lower time frame bias. But once price come to this particular region here and then show me a sign of reversal, I'm going to hold the trade until this high here. And then after this high here, I'm going to take my profit around this area. Yeah. So seeing what I did on GBPUSD, that will show you exactly what I'm expecting from GBPUSD this coming week. So I'm going to show you guys. Let's go down to my 1 hour time frame, which is my lower time frame, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now this is where price is now. Can you see where price is now? Can you see exactly where price is now? Now this is the last high. Yeah, you can see price have already broke it, showing us that lower time frame have shifted bearish. This is the last break of structure to the upside, and then this is the last high here. So price have already shifted bearish because it breaks structure here. That is why price shifted bearish. And then this is the zone that I'm talking about, that I want price to come. And then I have a liquidity here. If market eventually open and then price come to this zone and then show me a sign of and show me a sign of reverse, I'm going to enter. And then when I enter this particular trade, if price start going down and then come to this zone, I'm going to observe whatever price is going to do on this particular area. Whatever price did on this particular area is going to determine if I'm going to exit the trade here or if I'm going to hold until price reach to my higher time frame bias region. So with everything I said now, let me just mark out my lower time frame bias. So this is the supply zone I'm looking for. I'm looking out for price to come, and then I'm expecting price, when price reach this particular zone, it's going to show me the sign of reversal. I'm going to enter the trade until I meet this particular place. This is my lower time frame bias on GBPUSD. So since I've showed you guys my lower time frame bias on GBPUSD, I'm also going to show you guys my higher time frame bias on. So according to my chart, this is my higher time frame bias on GBPUSD. Whatever trade I want to enter, I'm always observing liquidity, in the sense that I have liquidity here. So this is first demand zone I want price to come, and then I have another demand zone here. So there is also a demand zone here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to mark out many demand zone here, but we are talking about a higher time frame bias, because if price eventually come to this area and again show me a sign of reversal, I'm going to target this particular high. Or if price eventually come to this area and then show me a sign of reversal, I'm going to target this particular high. So since I've already marked out the zone I'm looking out for, so what will happen is that if price come here and then show me a sign of reversal, I'll enter, because I already see a liquidity sweep, and then price can still come down and then give you another liquidity sweep and then continue going up. And then if price come here, blast through this particular demand zone here, and then come down here, meaning that price have already sweep a whole lot of liquidity here, and then price come here, show me a sign of reversal, I'm still going to go up. That's what I'm looking for on my higher time frame bias. So this is a possible scenario that's going to happen. But to me, I think that price is going to respect this particular zone. Yeah, I think that price is going to respect this particular zone, because this particular zone have what it takes to push price to the upside. I think price is going to respect this particular zone. So what is going to happen is that even though I expect price to respect this particular zone, I'm not going to enter blind, and still going to enter with confirmation, because I don't have one particular zone. So if I end up entering here, I'm going to be targeting this particular high here, and then I'm going to be keeping my stop loss on this particular place, keeping at an invalidation level. That's my first scenario of entering this particular trade. And then what is going to happen on my second scenario is that if price eventually blasts through this particular demand zone here, and then come to this particular demand zone and give me my confirmation entry. What is going to happen is that I'm going to enter this particular trade here, and then target this particular high here. As you can see what I'm trying to say here now. So I'm not trying to be greedy. I know a lot of people is going to be worried. The reason why I always widen my stop loss after a particular high or low. The reason why I always do that is that you have to give your stop loss a breathing room. You have to give your price a breathing room. Yeah, price can come and take out this particular low here with a pips or a 2 pips, or even spreads can take you out when price reach here. So you don't want spread to take you out here or price to take you out unnecessarily. So because of it, I normally give my trade 1 pip or 2 pips or even 3 pips depending, so that the price can have a breathing room and then do whatever it wants. The most important thing is that I eventually hit take profit. Professional trader don't mind about entry, they mind about exist. So when price hit my take profit, I don't mind about my stop loss in as much as I don't risk more than I can afford to lose. So guys, coming to the end of this particular video, I'm going to analyze only these 2 pairs because the video is getting too longer. Within the week, I'll still make out time to analyze other pairs. So guys, if you like what I did on this video, make sure you like, share, follow, comment. Don't fail to engage so that whenever I post the next video, you're going to get it so fast. Alright, see you guys in my next video.